listening to SuperPower Mommas on the SuperPower Up podcast, the show that embraces the art of soulful parenting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Greco, your host, and you are listening to SuperPower Mommas, and welcome. Today, we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Natalie Perkins, and we are speaking on the topic of empowering women entrepreneurs. And I have to say that after reviewing, I don't know Natalie personally, but after reviewing her website, I am really so excited to have her on this show, especially with what she's done with her life. So without further ado, I'm going to just introduce Natalie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Have you here with us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's SuperPower Mommas, of course. You know, it's all about empowering women and mamas to live their authentic life and to live in a way that also allows them to be empowered to be the parents that they're striving to be in life and not get sucked in by things that really don't fit them or suit them. And so when I read your bio, your intro on your website, I was intrigued because, the many things, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. But before we even get into why I was intrigued, I want to ask you our standard question, which is, what is your mama superpower?
So I actually had to go to a couple friends to be like, what is my superpower exactly? Because I don't think we always know our own superpower.
No.
But what I have boiled it down to is I will convince you to believe in yourself and the idea that you can achieve anything if you hang out with me long enough.
Aw, I love that. That is a really wonderful superpower, especially since it's coming also from the people who know you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how would you say that has assisted you? You have a daughter. She's 11 years old. How has that assisted you as a mom?
Well, I think, our values in life and like that particular, superpower, if you want to call it that, is we do use them in different ways, whether it's in parenting or in business. And for me, as a parent, we always are trying to empower our kids to, believe in themselves and the idea that they can achieve anything. And especially when they're like, my daughter's 11. So, coming into her own and really thinking about her future and what she wants that to look like. And, what all of those things, what she wants her ideal family structure to look like, what her professional structure would look like, how all of that fits together. I think it's really, it's really one of those things where I've kind of left that box sort of open for her so that she can put together her own ideas. And it's not just fitting into these categories of, do you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or, this or that. And just letting her know that there's so much out there and to really explore it.
Yeah. And I love that you are saying that, because to me, when you're saying you're empowering others to believe in themselves, like believing in themselves doesn't mean that they're in a job as much as they're being who they are, wherever job they are in.
Exactly. Because, I obviously work in the dance industry. And so I work with a lot of studio owners. Some of them are Bella Ballerina owners for our franchise. Some of them are studio owners who have been in business for themselves for many years. And we do, consulting work with them. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I want somebody to be successful only in that way. I'm interested in working with women and talking to women all the time that are in a lot of different types of industries, different positions. They don't even necessarily have to be working for themselves. It's just about being happy and creating the life that you want and knowing that you're in control of it.
Absolutely. And we were talking a little bit of that before the show. So let's go to this. I visited your website, read your bio, and what really took me was that you have this toddler and you're looking around for something and realize that you already have something. You were already experienced as a ballerina yourself. from what I gather. And you also had an entrepreneurial spirit about you. And so you went ahead and created something for yourself that I'm sure serves your family as well. So how about you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was always really important to me, kind of growing up. I had watched my dad be an entrepreneur himself, and I knew that was in the cards for me. It just was kind of finding the right opportunity. And when that opportunity came along, when my daughter was young, it was sort of one of those aha moments, because I had been in the dance industry forever as a dancer and a teacher, but I had never really considered it a career opportunity, because I don't think that, when we're coming like out of college and things, those, you're not thinking immediately of working for yourself. But, I knew I was going to get there at some point, and this was just the right opportunity at the right time. And so we started down that path, and, it's been amazing, because we started it when my daughter was the age that we see in our studio, mostly the toddler age range. And now she's 11 and really too old for our studio. But it's funny to see all those transitions, just sort of how we experienced not only business ownership, but business ownership in a business our family partook in,
Right.
and then, and how we see all of these other families kind of transition through our business as their kids grow up too. So it's been amazing, because we've been seeing this significant growth where, we started very small and it was very close knit. And then we kind of, expanded on that. We really became a part of the communities that we were in. And, people know our name in in those communities. And then we kind of expanded to, different communities when we started franchising our model. So we've been a family-owned business every step of that growth. And so my family has been a part of it. All of our studio owners' families are now a part of it. So we haven't lost any of that warmth, and it's meant almost, like the same thing to all of us. That same like heart-centered sort of mission has been there for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So in many respects, you have been empowering women entrepreneurs, have you not?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. All of our studio owners, it's, obviously mostly a female-driven industry. They are all women studio owners at this point. Not that we wouldn't welcome a guy, but, and husbands are very involved. But for the most part, I do foresee it being mostly female studio owners. And it is so amazing, because everybody has a different story. Everybody's at different points in their life, different season, with or without kids. And it's amazing, because they're all building their own stories and developing their own independence with their business, kind of in different ways and for different reasons. And I love being a part of each one of those stories.
Very beautiful. And I love too the fact that, we're talking to moms here for the most part. And, you and I are both moms too. And also we are very involved in other moms' lives, and we know that it's a different path for every mom, but there's many moms that I meet that are looking for something to do from, not maybe from home, but flexible enough with their family schedules so that they can be intimately involved in their family situations. There's other moms who really find it rewarding to go out to a place of employment and participate in the workforce that way, and that serves them in being empowering moms at home. And then there's moms who prefer to stay home, and I think your business also encourages moms to participate in their family or their child's participation in the ballerina.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I see so many moms, in and out of my business directly. And you're right. They all kind of come from this different point of view. And I enjoyed work. I enjoyed, those adult relationships that come with going to a place of work every day. And I really enjoyed the work I was doing. I just didn't enjoy, having to be slave to somebody else's schedule. Right. That wasn't cutting it for me. And I think a lot of people are in that boat, whether they are a working mom who, again, they might like their job, they might not, but they really don't like the schedule aspect of it, and also being in control of their own income. And there's a lot of moms who are kind of lean the other direction. They're like, I'd really prefer to stay at home, but I really want to bring something to the table to my family financially.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I really don't want to leave the kind of stay at home mom role. And then there's moms who would just rather just stay at home. And that's cool too. It's just everybody's kind of comes at it from a different point of view. And that may not be where they're at forever too. We have different seasons of life, different seasons of our kids' lives. And so that may change over time. And, what our company does is kind of bring something to the table for all three of those types of moms. We have a lot of studio owners who approach us kind of as their kids are going into school. And so now they're sort of, okay, now I have this free time during the day and I kind of want to get back into the working world. And yet I'm not really wanting to have something that's going to take me to a place where I can't be there to pick up my kid every day, or I can't be there for those field trips to go on and things like that. And we have moms who have been in the working world and again, just want that flexibility of schedule. And so what we built in our model was sort of purposely built around that woman,
Right.
because I think that that's kind of what happens with a lot of moms. They have this kind of, okay, we're like plugging along at life, we're working and da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden we have kids and we realize that nothing else in our life fits around the ideal situation for how we want to parent.
Right.
And so I think a lot of women become entrepreneurs later in life because of that transition of having children. And it's not until you have these major life changes, like having kids, that you stop and evaluate everything else in your life, including your profession. And sometimes our profession no longer fits into our family life. And rather than just kind of work our family life around it, a lot of women turn to, owning their own business and say, no, I want my business to work for me. I want my profession to work for me. So
Right. And there's more options. Like way back when I was a mom, the options were very different than they are today.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's wonderful to see. Like when I saw this business that you've created, I thought, my gosh, that's like a whole nother way of moms reaching out and creating an income and still being able to be involved with their families. So that was a really, it was intriguing. And to me, it was very creative. It was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love when it can all fit together nicely.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and I would like everyone to know how they can find your website. So could you tell us the website?
Absolutely. You can find us at bellaballerina.com.
Very simple. So we look forward to you returning with us. If you just give us a few minutes, we'll be right back. You are listening to SuperPower Mommas, Empowering Women Entrepreneurs, and we're speaking with Natalie Perkins.
Hello, everyone. This is Tonya Don Rekla, Executive Director of SuperPower Experts, and we want to thank each of you for making SuperPower Up the #1 podcast network for personal development and spiritual growth. Because people like you have the courage to say that mindfulness, healthy living, disrupting reality, the pursuit of consciousness, responsible entrepreneurship, and radical parenting matter, we now amass over 1 million downloads monthly in more than 90 countries. Our numbers keep growing because there are far more people willing to live divergently than mass media wants to acknowledge. For you, the change makers, the light bearers, the way showers, we say thank you. If you're ready to take the next step in your evolution, go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower quiz. And as Natalie Rekla, our youngest podcaster, likes to remind us, remember, we all have superpowers and we can change the world.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to SuperPower Mommas, and I'm Laura Greco, your host. We are speaking with Natalie Perkins on empowering women entrepreneurs. Before the break, Natalie was telling us about this business that she's created and an opportunity for women to have employment that is a business of their own and can really assist them in creating income as well as enjoying their families' schedule too. So welcome back. Welcome back, Natalie.
Thank you.
So, you spoke about your superpower being believe in yourself. And when I think about the today's mom, she is looking for that. She's very high stressed. There's a lot of factors that have gotten involved in her life that didn't used to exist when, moms were momming their children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to dance around the idea of maintaining autonomy. How important do you feel that that is for the moms today and in their parenting?
Oh, I think it's incredibly important. I mean, for me, I really, like I said, I knew I was going to have kids, at least one, eventually. Even, earlier when I was in like college and high school, even you think about your adult life and how that looks. I knew I wanted to be a mom. I didn't know exactly what that would look like or feel like. And my husband and I kind of laugh now because, when we were in college and I would say, oh, I want 4 kids and I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And and then I got to that point in my life and he's like, well, let's just have one and then let's evaluate. And then we'll have another one and let's evaluate. It was more logical about it. But after we had our first, I realized how much I really enjoyed working and how much I enjoyed that autonomy, and that I really didn't want to give it up to be a stay-at-home mom. It just wasn't me, at my center. And so it's always been really important to me to have something that I personally brought to the table, whether it was a project, whether it was income, whether it was something that had to be about me, not just about everybody else in my house. And I feel like there are a lot of stay-at-home moms who this is, what I hear a lot. It's like they feel like they're losing themselves sometimes. Yes. They enjoy what they're doing wholeheartedly, but they are losing themselves. And I think it's easy to do so. It's easy to lose yourself in work. It's easy to lose yourself in your family. As a woman, we are doing more than ever and doubting ourselves more and more. So to have something that you can feel accomplished about is probably the best feeling in the world, which means you have to maintain some autonomy, whether it's in your professional or personal life.
Correct. And I totally agree with you here. And I want to actually just bring this around a little bit more to the how that empowers a mom when she is recognizing her own autonomy and satisfying her purpose in some way, whether not that work is a purpose, but she's fulfilling herself, filling up her bucket. What does that do for her or for you as a mom?
I feel like when I have personally accomplished something, I can be there more fully for my family as a mom, because I'm not getting wrapped up in the little things that would stress me out, because I know I've got more going on. So for me, it's like busier is better.
Yeah.
It's like and also I think it's important for me to show, my daughter the example of, hey, you can do whatever you want, right? You can achieve anything you want. If it's this particular project you want to, do really well on, you just work at it and you have to do it for you and you can achieve it. If it's a certain income or a certain job or whatever it is, that picture of it, you can achieve it. But if your whole life as a mom is about your kids, and you don't have anything for yourself, you don't have any way to set that particular example. So you have to have something, right? Even if you're in the PTA and you're involved and you're helping out and that's your jam, like do that, because then your kids are seeing you take ownership of something outside of them. Right. And that's what I think is really important about that.
You hit it right on the head. That was a beautiful point, is that whatever it is that's yours to do, go do it. And right. And I raised 4 daughters myself. So, I totally feel that first of all, it's a little bit of a stereotype, if you will, what women do in life. Or has been anyway. And I was looking to offer them an opportunity to see something more, something different.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and that it's not either or, it's and, if that's
I was just going to say that it's definitely an and situation, because, and oftentimes it has to be, and I was actually just thinking about this last night, because I am still primarily the one in my household who makes dinner most nights. Right. Okay. And so I take on, I do the grocery shopping, I cook dinner. Can my husband do those things? Absolutely. Does he do those things? Yes, but not a majority of the time. And so, it is still an and situation. I think a lot of moms are put into that position where they are still that default parent, right? They're still the one who's the one who the school calls first if something's wrong. And they're the one that has to remember all the birthdays and get all the gifts for this and that and do all the Christmas shopping and cook dinner and have their career. And I'm okay with that as long as there is balance in my household in different ways. But, it is tricky. And I do think it's so interesting that, like I said, moms are now doing more than ever. They're taking on more than ever, and they are doubting themselves more than ever about, are they enough? Are they doing enough? And I'm like, because you look at other people and you think, that's crazy pants. Like, of course you're doing enough. Like you're like knocking it out here. But you look at yourself and think, yeah, you're questioning yourself. So that's a really interesting thing. I think it's happening in just sort of in our world as moms today. And I fall into it too.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, where do you think that's coming from? We're doing more than ever, fulfilling a lot of roles. What do you think is going on there?
Well, I think because it is so many roles that we're focusing on and trying to balance, really it's the balance of it is what's impossible. Right. And so you always feel like you're falling short in one category or another. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea of work-life balance, I tell people to just you can ball that up and chuck it out the window because it really doesn't exist. You have work-life juggle is what it is. And sometimes all the balls are in the air for work and all the balls are falling on the ground for home. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's the opposite. And you have to just be okay with that because at some point all those balls get picked up. Right. And so you just have to be okay with doing the best you can and being forgiving of yourself. Like today, mm-hmm. my daughter they have a fun run at school. It's a big fundraiser thing. And, all the parents are like, are you going to the fun run? And I'm like, nope, I got to work. Mm-hmm. I'm like, do I need to be there for a fun run every single year? No, I don't. And I don't feel bad about it, So it's one of those things where I think once you accept it and once you accept that there's got to be that juggle happening and you're not going to be at everything and it doesn't matter, you can kind of live unapologetically and say, I'm okay with my life and not feel so negative about it anymore. I also think we spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to other moms. Mm-hmm. It used to happen in magazines, right? Women used to compare themselves to other women in magazines. Now we're just comparing ourselves to other women on Instagram. And, and so we're comparing ourselves as moms, we're comparing ourselves as professionals, we're comparing ourselves as partners. And it's like, you can't possibly live up to these, impossible standards in every category of your life. Okay. So, you have to be accepting and forgiving of yourself and know that you can achieve whatever you want. It's just in your own time, in your own way, and build the picture of your life that you want.
Right. And be, so, what I'm seeing here or feeling about all this is, wouldn't it be a great opportunity to really decide what the values are, for yourself and your family, and be okay with the flex and the flow?
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So, maybe certain things are just more important in your culture as a family than other things, and be okay with that. Other families have other things that are more important, and
absolutely.
That's okay too. As long as it's not to a detriment of a child, of course, but but not to detriment of a mother or father either. I think that the way we treat ourselves has such an effect on our children.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And that's what we've been talking about here is taking care of ourselves and our own gifts that we want to bring to the world, and allowing our children to see that happen, and yet doing it with grace with our children as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful conversation. And so your business, your Bella Ballerina, has now franchised into how many?
Yeah, so we have, right now we have 4 franchise locations in addition to our corporate stores. And then we have a whole bunch more coming this year. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, so that's creating more reach for you, more balance to care for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're all like my babies. So
so in the beginning, you told us your superpower was believe in yourself, or assisting others to believe in themselves. Mm-hmm. How do you see that the work that you do, not just in your family, but also by extension, making a difference in the world with this work that you do out in the world?
So in a couple ways, when I talk to somebody who's interested in opening one of our studios, it's funny because they've often done, some brief research on our company and the concept and what our studios are like.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very interested in that part of it. What
Right.
they get where I find in their decision-making process, they get stifled is where they do question themselves as to whether they can do it. Sometimes they've never been a business owner, and they're thinking, gosh, can I even do this? Like, am I even capable of this? And these people are wildly successful in their own careers already. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're asking all the right questions. You're doing all the right things. You're saying all the things to me that are indicating you are going to be phenomenal at this. And I can't believe you're questioning yourself, But I think it's because every time we step into something new, it's scary, and we're always supposed to be questioning ourselves in that way. So, when I say that I convince them to believe in themselves, I just point out to them what is kind of their blind spot, because it's themselves, right? So they don't really see that by doing this particular career that they're in now, which may have nothing to do with a dance studio, how they really actually do have the skill set, because they're just using those skills in different ways. And in reality, a lot of times it's, anytime you step into a business, it's about your ability to learn. It's not about what you already come to the table with. And so I know that these women are capable of achieving anything they want. It's just about their perspective and how they're seeing it. And so that's what I work to help them to kind of come to that decision-making process, if it's right for them, if it's a good fit for them. And to be honest, at the end of the day, I just want these women to be happy. So even if we're not a right fit for them, I just want them to work through that process, but to really see their own potential. And at the end of the day, that's really what we're trying to do with our students too. So I personally have a connection, every day to our studio owners, and my fulfillment comes with helping them build their studios and helping them with their personal achievements. And so I know that I have an impact on all of these individual studio owners' families. But at the end of the day, we do bring that same ideal to the classroom. And we're, trying to help these little girls in our classes and boys understand that they can achieve anything and to believe in themselves. So a lot of our ideals and a lot of the language that we use in our classroom and the things that we say to our students are all about self-empowerment and knowing that our studios are a safe place where they can come and just be themselves and not have to worry about being made fun of or, you're to this or to that. And you can just kind of let go of everything from the day that you've been experiencing. And for that next hour, you can just let loose and have fun. And they're doing a lot of learning, but at the end of the day, they walk away from it with so much more than like a dance education. They walk away with knowing that they have people in their lives, like their teachers who are, another positive influence and are always going to be behind them and supporting them. And so we're doing it on a couple levels, and that is something I'm really proud of.
Yeah. And I can see that. And as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about it's another view of the same picture. When we start out in our families, we are actually doing the same thing. We're adjusting our perspective. We're learning to have fun as well as get the, the things that need to be done. There's a lot of learning about ourselves as parents or as people, who are parents. We're looking at our children and being thrown these curveballs a little bit. And we're like, okay, where can I grow out of this and assist my child to do the same?
Absolutely. Yeah, we see it. I mean, I think we do. As parents, it's like you have a baby and then the world starts spinning. Nothing slows. It doesn't slow down enough for you to really think through what kind of parent do I want to be? Because that is such a hypothetical question before you have kids. And then, and then you realize, oh boy, that wasn't really necessarily practical, what I thought. So you sort of grow into the parent you're going to be, but you don't really necessarily stop and take the time to think about it, purposefully. And
it's
so
almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly. It is. There's just not enough time. And so you're reacting in the moment. And so, it's funny because as a company, we have, a mission and values, and those things are very purposeful. So we hope that we're acting as an extension of what parents would want us to how parents would want to support their own kids, and how I would want to support a family member, in our studio owners. So all of that is very purposeful. But, in terms of parenting, it's just kind of funny. It's like, it seems like controlled chaos.
Yeah. Happiness is living in a neat mess, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. Would you like to share with us your mission and values of your business? The things that you were just mentioning there?
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of go back to that. It's for in the classroom, our mission is obviously, teaching dance and giving a solid dance education in those early foundational years. But we want to do it in a way where kids are enjoying the activity, because a lot of times kids are so stressed with activities nowadays. It's like, let's have fun, So we do everything to storybook themes, and really give them a good visual way to understand how their bodies move. But also, in terms of talking about their bodies, also make sure that we're always instilling in them that they should be confident exactly as they are, and that they have all of these people in their lives who are supportive of them, and as they kind of come into their own, because the years that they're in our studio are really the years that they do come into their own. They start as young as 18 months, but go up to about 10 years old. Okay. And that's sort of where I love teaching these ages, and seeing these ages in the studio, because it's like, they're hysterical, and the toddlers, I love them. And then they, as they're kind of growing up, they like develop their own personality and their own opinions, and they're not afraid to share them. And, you're not their parent. So you get a lot of their personality coming through, and we love being able to empower them as, young women, and kind of going to the next phase of their life. And then, in the studio owner side, it's kind of just an extension of that. I hope that we're helping raise future studio owners in our studio who are just confident in themselves and live unapologetically for who they are, and and enjoy this industry that is incredibly fun. Like, I could not imagine doing anything else. It was funny. I was talking to somebody who was interested in opening a store, and they were an attorney. And I said, I don't know what you do every day, but I guarantee I have more fun. Yes. So, I mean, my life is filled with glitter and tutus, and, so it's incredibly rewarding. And I hope that we can just pass that on to other studio owners, but also just empower them to know that they can achieve this life picture that they really want. And that can involve more than they ever thought, could be there for them.
Yeah. And what you speak to is really something we are seeing more and more, and wanting to see more and more, because in that kind of attitude, in that kind of that fun and playful yet responsible container is exactly what we want to begin to see more and more in the world. Right? Because the stress isn't working.
Yeah.
But enjoying and having fun and discovering and getting curious, it all is part of, our existence here when we allow it to be. And it just makes for such an interesting journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Before we go, because we are coming to the end of our show, I would like to ask you, is there anything that you would like our listeners to know from your heart that you would like them to remember or go away with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I think this is because I've had quite a few conversations recently that have sort of come down to this point. Yeah. I talk to so many women who are desperate to make a change in their life. They are coming into the next season of their life. They want to make a change, whatever that is, personally, professionally. They are in a job that they don't like. And they just, the thought of doing it for another 10 years is like soul sucking, right? Mm-hmm. They are just desperate to make a change, but they aren't moving forward. And, there's that very cliche phrase of, a journey, or whatever, journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Right. And it is so cliche, but I'll tell you, you can make a change in your life. If you're in a place where you're just like, I need to move forward, something needs to give, all of those things that people are thinking, you can make a change. There is an entire community of women business owners, female entrepreneurs out there to support you. Mm-hmm. It is something that you can do, and you just need to find the right support system. But you do need to make the first decision to move forward. Nothing is going to change in a year. You're going to feel the exact same way in a year if you don't make the decision to move forward. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just a mental shift of believing in yourself, right? Yes. And that's why I say hang out with me, because I'll convince you that you can do it. But
they can if they want to.
Right, exactly. Sometimes it's a mental shift. Sometimes it's other obstacles. But you have to make the decision in yourself to move forward. And you guaranteed, no matter what that decision is, it will be life-changing, right? Because nothing stays the same, or everything stays the same if you don't make any changes, right? So it's just about having the idea to make a change in your life, making the decision to do something differently, and moving forward.
Exactly. And then finding the community that can assist and support your decisions.
Oh, absolutely. That's so key in all of that. Yeah.
Right. And so if the community you're in right now that doesn't support that, then strive to find others, and the universe will, you send a message. No, I'm looking for this. This is what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So please share again where everyone can reach you if they want to show interest in either the studio or the possibility of a business of their own.
Of course, it is bellaballerina.com, and we have a little button right on the homepage that says franchise. So if it's something you're interested in, I'd be happy to share more details with you. I'm very proud and excited about our concept, and would love to see and welcome many more amazing studio owners into what has become such a fun and rewarding business for us.
Yeah. And so no matter where you go, mamas, find your jam and go do it, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Natalie, so much for being with us. This is Natalie Perkins, and you've been listening to SuperPower Mommas on the topic of empowering women entrepreneurs. And I just want to say, mamas, that until we meet again, please remember to love yourselves for the treasures that you are. You already have superpowers, so go and hone them and breathe into your life and let go of the judgments that are out there that you take upon yourself, and just breathe and have fun and get curious and love yourself and love the world. Until next time, this is Laura Greco at SuperPower Mommas.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.